statewide campuses of Troy University. This is TrojanVision News at Noon.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision News at Noon for Thursday, January 14th, 2010. I'm Sean Sporman. Thank you for joining us. For over a year, the fate of Troy's hospital has been in question. Tuesday night, the Troy City Council gave citizens the answer. And as Derica James tells us, Troy residents will be paying part of the bill.
Tuesday night, it was announced at the City Council meeting that the City of Troy is going to buy Troy Regional Medical Center. Mayor Jimmy Lunsford tells us it is a good hospital, but it was just having problems with funding and needed the city's help.
And we have a great hospital. The only problem the previous owners had was they had money problems. They got in undercapitalized and couldn't make the capital improvements and substantiate the bad debt, the write-offs that you have in the hospital industry now, throughout the country. Theirs was strictly a financial situation.
With the city taking over the hospital, many may wonder how that will affect the citizens and how the health service may change. But City Council President John Witherton says it should run just as it did before.
Well, it should be a seamless transition in that the hospital will not close. The same doctors will be there and the support staff, the nurses. And so, the citizens of Troy shouldn't notice any change at all as far as the operation of the hospital. They'll just be under new owners.
However, there is one difference that the taxpayers will feel, and that is an increase of the general sales tax by 1%. Residents will not pay 9 cents on the dollar to help fund the hospital until the city decides which direction they will take in the future.
Well, the citizens of Troy will, at least on the short term, have to provide the necessary operating funds in order to operate their hospital. It's their hospital. And, we want to have a first-class hospital. We've got a good one now, but the taxpayers are going to have to step forward, until we can get it on its feet and operating on its own.
The sales tax will be in place for 1 year. After that, Troy citizens will be able to decide in a referendum whether to keep the tax in place. Derica James, TrojanVision News.
The city will assume ownership of the hospital tomorrow. The sales tax increase will go into effect in March, bringing the total local sales tax to 9%. The Student Government Association held its first meeting of the semester Tuesday night, and Mackenzie Hicks was there for a big announcement that was made.
I stand before you today to inform you of my resignation as the Student Government Association President.
The resignation of Student Government Association President Jonathan Davis was the major topic of Tuesday night's meeting. Davis says this is something he had been thinking about for a while, and over the Christmas break, he made his final decision.
There's so many responsibilities that I have as an individual that I have neglected actually for a while, and it's very crucial that I do give attention to those things, be it responsibilities that I have beyond Troy.
With Davis stepping down, Vice President of Legislative Affairs William Fillmore will step in as the new president, and he says he's excited but hates to see Davis leave.
Well, it's an exciting thing at an unexciting time. I hate to see someone who's put as much work as Jonathan has having to resign and give up what he's worked so hard for since he started college.
Fillmore has had some time to think about what he wants to do as president and already has some ideas that he thinks will improve the SGA.
I would like to see our Senate meet in the Trojan Center, in the Student Center, because we are for the student body. We're elected to represent the members of the student body, and I think that would be a great thing.
Davis hopes that he is starting off 2010 right, but says he does have one regret about stepping down.
I have a regret to not maintain my focus. Of course, when you do get into different organizations, those can definitely pull your focus in different directions, but ultimately I have no regrets other than just for me to remain focused.
Both Davis and Fillmore have been in the SGA since they were freshmen, and if Davis had continued as SGA president, he would have only served for 3 more months before handing over the reins. Mackenzie Hicks, Troy TrojanVision News.
Fillmore will be sworn in as the new SGA president at next Tuesday's meeting. Troy University's annual African American Leadership Conference kicks off at the beginning of next month, and this year the conference will feature a pair of nationally known speakers. This year's keynote speakers will be actor Tim Reed and former CNN news anchor Lynn Vaughn. Reed is probably best known for his roles in hit television series such as Sister Sister, Frank's Place, and WKRP in Cincinnati. Vaughn anchored CNN Headline News for more than 13 years. Registration for the conference is $30. For information about how you can register, you can contact Troy's Institute for Leadership Development at 334-670-5686. The deadline to register is January 25th. This year's conference is set for February 5th through 6th on the Troy campus. And now taking a look at news from around the state. Alabama's unemployment rate has dropped for the first time in more than 2 years. The State Department of Industrial Relations announced that Alabama's rate declined from 10.9% to 10.5%. Counties with the lowest unemployment rates include Pike County with 8.2%. And next in state news, Alabama Power says the recent freezing temperatures have caused its customers to set a new record for electrical usage during the wintertime. A spokesman says the record had been set in January of 2008, but customers topped that 3 times during the cold spell. And last in state news, a new report shows Alabamians are still paying more than the national average for homeowners insurance, but premiums aren't rising as fast as the spike seen since 2002. The National Association of Insurance Commissioners says the average premium for a homeowner's policy in Alabama rose 1.2%, or $11 to $904. And still to come on Trojan Vision News at noon, the top banking executives meet to discuss what went wrong. That story is after the break. But first, the death toll in Haiti continues to rise after yesterday's earthquake, and the U.S. is reaching out with a helping hand. All that plus more news, sports, and weather as Trojan Vision News at noon continues right after this.
You're watching Troy Trojan Vision News at noon.
The U.S. government is swinging into action, ready to help Haiti recover from Tuesday's earthquake on several fronts. Search and rescue teams are flying to the island nation, ready to hunt for survivors. Meanwhile, the American Red Cross prepares to spend months, if not years, rebuilding the destroyed parts of the capital city, Port-au-Prince. Joel Brown reports on the relief effort from Washington. Some of the world's most important bankers gathered in Washington to talk about the financial crisis. And while they're admitting to past mistakes, they're also defending their latest practices, which include some of the biggest bonuses ever. Bonuses some of the government seek to regulate and control. Alexis Christoforous reports. Some of the world's most important bankers gathered in Washington to talk about the financial crisis. And while they're admitting to past mistakes, they're also defending their latest practices, which include some of the biggest bonuses ever. Bonuses some of the government seek to regulate and control. Alexis Christoforous reports from Wall Street. And now Kentrella Jones joins us with a look at sports. So Kentrella, there was a basketball game on campus last night?
Yes, there was. The women's basketball took on North Texas last night, so we'll get into that and see how they did. Well, Sean, as you can see, we have a lot going on. We have the basketball team taking on Mean Green tonight, and hopefully we'll come out with a victory. And congratulations to all the seniors who had the opportunity to make it to the NFL Combine.
Yes, certainly all the Trojan fans will be looking forward to see how both the basketball team turns out and to see how many players make it into the NFL.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Kentrella.
Thank you.
Coming up on Trojan Vision News at noon, learn more about other activities available across campus with Aaron Taylor in Trojan Talk. But first, a hard freeze struck the area once again last night, but there are improvements on the horizon. Ivy Carter will let you know coming up in weather, so don't go away.
You're watching Troy Trojan Vision News at noon.
Welcome back, and now Ivy Carter joins us with a look at weather. So Ivy, I'm sure a lot of Alabamians are really feeling the fatigue of these constant freezing nights. Are we going to see any improvements, maybe some warmer weather coming in?
We do have a chance of seeing some improvement. We won't see temperatures in the 20s anymore after last night. Last night should have been our last night seeing temperatures in the 20s. They should begin to warm up, but unfortunately with those warmer temperatures we do have a chance of seeing some rain. But we'll get into all that in just a second. But right now let's take a look outside. So Sean, for those of us that are ready for the cold weather to go away, we will see a little bit of a break. We should get back to about normal temperatures for this time of the year in our area.
Well, I'm sure a lot of the people that aren't so fond of the cold weather will enjoy that, even if they have to swap out their heavy jackets for umbrellas by the weekend.
Right.
Thank you very much, Ivy. Troy University's Student Government Association represents the student body, but it also tries to provide extracurricular activities as well. Aaron Taylor learns how in today's edition of Trojan Talk. Hello. That's all the time we have for Trojan Vision News at noon. For Kentrella Jones for sports, Ivy Carter with weather, and all of our broadcast crew, I'm Sean Sporman. Thank you for joining us. Tune in to TrojanVision Nightly News at 5 for all the latest developments, and have a great afternoon.